news today. Senate sets for state police vote. On the foreign scene, Eastern Libya bans entry for 4 African countries. US, Iran at odds on nuclear inspections. And in sports, Colombia advanced to World Cup knockout stage. Glad to have you join us. This is the news update at 12 on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I am Anu Oluwapo Ido. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on African leaders to stop the unproductive exploitation of the continent's mineral resources and work together to gain greater value from their natural wealth. Speaking in Abuja while receiving a delegation of the African Mineral Strategy Group, Tinubu said Africa must strengthen its bargaining power and end the practice of exporting raw minerals while other regions benefit from processing and industrial development. He urged government to invest in research, local refining and value addition, stressing that mineral resources should drive industrialization, job creation and economic growth across the continent. In another development, the Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, has defended the administration's economic policies, saying he does not personally observe the level of hunger often described in public discussions. Speaking on ongoing reforms, Ononuga cited improvements in road infrastructure, including his recent trip along the Ibadan to Lagos corridor. He also pointed to the Coastal Highway project and the federal government student loan scheme. While acknowledging economic challenges, Ononuga maintained that his personal interactions with citizens do not reflect the scale of hardship often reported in public debate. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has transmitted a constitution amendment bill to the Senate, seeking the establishment of state police and a legal framework for state-controlled policing in Nigeria. Senate President Godswill Akpabio at plenary referred the bill to the Senate Committee on Constitution Review for further legislative consideration, but warned state governors against misuse of state police when eventually established. President Tinubu said the proposal will complement an earlier version passed by the House of Representatives and help tackle rising security challenges in the country. Meanwhile, the National Assembly is also reviewing another constitutional amendment seeking to place military funding on the first line charge of the Federation's revenue. The Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, has accused sections of the Nigerian media of creating a false impression that the country is overwhelmed by insecurity. Speaking in an interview, Ononuga acknowledged ongoing security challenges such as kidnappings and attacks, but insisted that Nigeria is not under siege, noting that many citizens still travel safely across the country. He added that several incidents occur at night despite repeated warnings from security agencies against night travel. He also defended federal government security statistics following reports showing a rise in conflict-related deaths over the past decade. Ononuga said the presidency relies on data from the Office of the National Security Advisor and argued that official government figures should not be outrightly dismissed. A week after a building linked to a suspected arms dealer was demolished in Ibadan, the Oyo State Police Command has paraded 5 suspects arrested in connection with weapons recovered from the premises. The police say efforts are ongoing to arrest the main suspect and unravel the full extent of activities linked to the discovery. Our correspondent, Damilola Daudu, has the details.
With firearms and other exhibits recovered from a building demolished by the Oyo State government in Ibadan. The building, linked to Surajuddin Adio, popularly known as Suri Lopeju, was pulled down on the 16th of June following a police raid prompted by a petition alleging illegal possession of arms. Police says the investigation began after Suri allegedly threatened to shoot an individual. During a search of the premises, operatives recovered firearms, ammunition and other items, while photographs of suspects were also found within the property. However, the principal suspects remain at large. While parading the suspects and recovered exhibits, the police or public relations officer said efforts are ongoing to arrest the fleeing suspects and determine the full extent of criminal activities linked to the property.
Follow the reports made by one of the citizens of Nigeria that reported that while on his way traveling, a vehicle intercepted him and of course telling him to leave the road And in an attempt to step out of the vehicle, he saw one Mr. Babatunde Adio, popularly called Suri Lupeju, coming out with an AK-47 rifle and threatening him to waste him if he does not stop. Upon that encounter, they also beat him. It was a couple of assaults. He went to one of our outposts at the SRS and reported the incident. Upon the receipt of the information, the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Police Command, CP Abimbola Ayodeji Olugbenga, PSM and IPS, directed the case to be transferred to CP monitoring units.
Among those arrested are 5 individuals who claimed they had no involvement in any criminal activities. Most of them told journalists that they only visited Suri to seek financial assistance, describing him as a businessman who supplied vehicles and tricycles on installment payment arrangement.
She's my bros. I'm a driver to Suraju Adio. She's the one who has helped of me. It's over a year, no, going to 2 or 3 years. She buy me a bus. So that bus I'm paying is only meant back.
Meanwhile, Muhyiddin Adio, son of the fleeing suspect, said the discovery of firearms in the building came as a shock to him, having recently returned from Poland. He maintained that his father should face the law if found guilty of any offense.
Into ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ níjọ́ yẹn ó jẹ́ nǹkan àkọ́kọ́ tó kọ́kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi nígbèsí ayé mi tó jẹ́ pé mo wò pé kí ló dé. Ó yà mí lẹ́nu torí mi rí nǹkan tó jọba yẹn rí nígbèsí ayé mi pé nínú ilé dádì mi.
The police command says investigations are continuing as efforts intensify to apprehend the fleeing suspect and uncover other possible connections to the recovered weapons. Damilola Daudu reporting for Dominion News.
And now to the foreign scene. Authorities in eastern Libya have banned citizens of Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia from entering the country through all land, sea and airports. The ban, announced on Tuesday, is seen as an effort to curb the flow of migrants using Libya as a transit route to Europe, but exempts diplomats and workers in the health and education sectors. The decision comes amid rising tensions over refugees and migrants in both eastern and western Libya. And according to the United Nations, more than 900,000 migrants and refugees are currently in the country, with Sudanese nationals forming the largest group. Now, Ukraine says its forces have carried out drone strikes on key infrastructure in Crimea, including a railway bridge, a power plant, and other strategic targets as Kyiv steps up efforts to isolate the Russian-controlled peninsula. The attacks have added to growing challenges in Crimea, where Russian authorities have suspended gasoline sales to civilians amid disruptions to supply routes and the power grid during the peak summer tourist season. Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov said Kyiv is isolating Crimea with drones, suggesting the campaign could significantly impact Russian operations on the peninsula. Now, President Donald Trump says Iran has agreed to allow nuclear inspections indefinitely as part of ongoing peace negotiations, but Tehran has denied making any such commitment. The two sides also offer differing accounts on key issues, including financial incentives for Iran, control of the Strait of Hormuz, and Israel's military operations in Lebanon. Despite the differences, Trump told supporters at a rally in Pennsylvania that the relations with Iran were improving. Meanwhile, signs of growing opposition to the war have emerged in Washington, with the Republican-controlled Senate voting 50-48 in support of a resolution calling for the withdrawal of U.S. forces from the conflict. And our talking sport. Colombia secured a place in the World Cup knockout stage after a hard-fought 1-0 victory over DR Congo in Guadalajara. Colombia dominated much of the match and created several chances with Munoz, Luis Diaz and Jean Arias all going close before the breakthrough finally arrived in the second half. The result gives Colombia a second consecutive win, putting them top of Group K and guaranteeing a place in the last 32. DR Congo remained third in the group and must beat Uzbekistan in their final group match to keep their hopes of qualification alive. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. And that ends the news update on Dominion Television. I am Anu Oluwapo Ido. Thank you for watching.